The Galactic Union Hall was so large that it felt like a city covered by a single roof. Lights from 1,000 alien technologies floated in the air like slow stars. Massive pillars made of crystal and metal rose toward a ceiling no human could see clearly. Every known spacefaring species had sent representatives. Some were tall, some small, some covered in fur, scales, or light. Their voices mixed into a low, constant hum. Among them stood a single human. His name was Ethan Cole, a junior officer from Earth's interstellar fleet. He wore a simple dark uniform, clean but plain compared to the glowing robes and armored shells around him. He was not important. That was what everyone believed, including Ethan himself. Humans had only joined the Galactic Union 5 years ago. They were new, weak in technology compared to older races, and politically quiet. Earth had been invited to the ceremony only as observers, not participants. Ethan's job was simple: stand, watch, and do nothing that might embarrass humanity. Ethan stood with his hands behind his back, trying not to stare. His heart beat fast, but his face remained calm. He reminded himself of his training. Observe, learn, respect. At the center of the hall was a wide circular platform. Ancient symbols glowed on its surface, shifting colors slowly. This was the ceremony of binding, an event that happened once every 50 galactic cycles. Powerful species used it to form sacred alliances. Bonds made here were older than many civilizations and stronger than most treaties. Ethan had studied it before coming. Only compatible species could take part. Only those chosen by tradition, biology, and law. Humans were not on the list. A deep tone echoed through the hall. Silence followed instantly. From the far side of the platform, a group of tall, elegant beings stepped forward. Their skin shimmered like moonlight on water, and faint lines of light moved beneath it. Their eyes were bright and calm, filled with ancient intelligence. They were the Alari, one of the oldest and most respected races in the galaxy. At their center walked Princess Vylera. Ethan had seen images of her, but reality was different. She moved with quiet confidence, her long robe floating just above the platform. A faint crown of light rested above her head, not touching, yet clearly bound to her presence. She was young for her kind, but her power was undeniable. As she stepped onto the platform, the symbols beneath her feet brightened. Ethan felt something then, a strange pressure in the air, like the moment before a storm. He did not understand it, but he felt it deeply. The ceremony began. Elder voices spoke in languages older than Earth's oceans. The platform responded, lights rising into the air, forming shapes that twisted and joined. This was not just tradition. It was living law, woven into reality itself. One by one, alien nobles stepped forward. Each time, the platform judged them. Some were accepted, others were gently pushed back by invisible force. No one argued. The platform did not make mistakes. Ethan watched with quiet respect. He felt small, but not afraid. Then, something unexpected happened. As the last chosen noble stepped away, the lights did not fade. Instead, they pulsed brighter. A low sound echoed again, deeper this time. Murmurs spread through the hall. Princess Vylera stopped walking. She turned her head. Slowly, her glowing eyes moved across the gathered beings. Many looked back with hope, pride, or hunger for power, but her gaze passed over them all. It stopped on Ethan. At first, he thought it was a mistake. He stood very still, breathing slow. Surely she was looking past him, or at someone behind him. But there was no one behind him. The pressure in the air increased. Ethan's chest felt tight, but his feet did not move. He did not bow or look away. He met her gaze not as a challenge, but as a human instinct, honest and unsure. Gasps echoed through the hall. Princess Vylera took a single step forward, then another. She left the platform. No Aelari had ever done that during a binding ceremony. Union guards shifted uneasily. Elders whispered urgently to one another. This was not part of any recorded ritual. Ethan's mind raced. Had he done something wrong? Was he about to be removed? Princess Vylera stopped a few steps in front of him. Up close, she was taller than him, but not by much. He could see the faint glow beneath her skin, moving like slow rivers of light. Her expression was calm, but her eyes held something else. Focus, curiosity, and something deeper. She raised her hand. The hall froze. A thin line of light formed around her fingers. It hummed softly, alive and ancient. Ethan recognized it from his briefings. The mark of binding. That was impossible. It was only used between chosen partners on the platform. Someone shouted in an alien language. Another voice cried out in alarm. The elders stood in shock. Ethan did not move. Princess Vylera touched his shoulder. A light flowed from her fingers and spread across Ethan's uniform, sinking into his skin. It was warm, not painful. The symbol appeared just below his collarbone, glowing softly before settling into a faint silver mark. The hall erupted into chaos. Voices shouted in dozens of languages. Some in anger, some in disbelief, some in fear. Union guards rushed forward, but stopped when the platform itself flared with blinding light. A single tone echoed, louder than before. The ceremony had accepted the bond. Ethan stood frozen, his heart pounding. He looked down at the mark, then back up at the princess. I don't understand, he said quietly. Princess Vylera lowered her hand. Her voice, when she spoke, carried through the hall without effort. The bond has chosen, she said. And the bond does not lie, the elders protested. Laws were cited, histories were shouted. Never had a human been part of such a ritual. Never had a non-participant been marked. But the platform remained bright and steady. The ceremony concluded itself. That had never happened either. As guards finally approached, not to arrest, but to protect, Ethan felt the weight of countless eyes on him. Fear crept into his thoughts. He was just one man. A junior officer. How could this be real? Princess Vylera turned slightly toward him. You are afraid, she said softly. Yes, Ethan answered honestly. Her lips curved in something close to a smile. That is acceptable, she replied. You did not hide it. They were escorted fro the private chamber given to them was quiet, but it did not feel safe. The walls were smooth and pale, made of living alloy that shifted slowly like breathing skin. Soft light came from no clear source. Guards from the Galactic Union stood outside, their presence heavy and tense. Inside, Ethan Cole sat on the edge of a wide bench, his back straight, his hands resting on his knees. The silver mark on his chest felt warm, not painful, just aware. Across from him stood Princess Vylera. She had removed the ceremonial crown of light. Without it, she looked less distant, though no less powerful. Her expression was calm, but Ethan could sense the pressure around her, like gravity bending inward. Minutes passed in silence. Finally, Ethan spoke. Am I in danger? Vylera turned her gaze to him. Yes. He nodded once. He appreciated honesty. From who? Many, she answered. My people. Other species, even your own, perhaps. That surprised him. My people? The bond changes balance, Vylera said. Balance creates fear. Fear creates desperate choices. Ethan let out a slow breath.
I didn't ask for this. I know, she replied. Neither did I.
That made him look up. You didn't? No, she said softly. I did not choose you in the way you think. Before he could ask more, the door rippled and opened. 3 figures entered. They were elders of the Galactic Union, their forms hidden within layered robes and floating symbols. Their voices carried authority shaped by centuries. "This meeting is now under Union law," one elder said. "Princess Valera of the Alari, human officer Ethan Cole. You will answer truthfully." Valera inclined her head slightly. Ethan stood, copying her movement out of respect. "The mark of binding is absolute," another elder said. "It cannot be placed by mistake. Yet this union violates recorded compatibility law." "Explain." Valera did not hesitate. "The law is incomplete." A ripple of unease moved through the elders. "The bond responded to intent, not form," she continued. "It judged what it always judges: truth, stability, and will." "And you claim a human possesses these qualities above all others present?" an elder asked sharply. Valera turned slightly, placing herself between Ethan and the elders. It was a small movement, but meaningful. "I claim," she said, "that among all present, he was the only one who did not desire the bond." Silence followed. Ethan felt every eye turn toward him. "That is not a weakness," Valera added. "It is the foundation of trust," one elder's symbols flared. "Romantic interpretations are irrelevant. This bond creates shared fate, shared authority, shared consequence. A human cannot." "The bond disagrees," Valera said calmly. The room vibrated faintly, as if reality itself acknowledged her words. Another elder spoke, slower now. "Human, did you attempt to influence the ceremony?" "No," Ethan said immediately. "I didn't even know it could happen. Did you desire power? Status? Alliance with the Alari?" Ethan swallowed. This was the moment everything could break. "I was scared," he said. "I still am. I didn't want attention. I just wanted to do my duty and go home." Truth filled the room like clear water. The elders exchanged silent signals. After a moment, one spoke again. "The bond stands, but it will be challenged." Valera's jaw tightened slightly. Ethan noticed. "There will be trials," the elder continued, "to determine whether this union destabilizes the union. Until then, the human remains under observation." "Protect him," Valera said immediately. "That is not your authority alone," an elder replied. "It is now," she answered. The mark on Ethan's chest pulsed. The elders paused. Finally, they withdrew. When the chamber was quiet again, Ethan released a breath he didn't realize he had been holding. "That went better than expected," he said weakly. Valera looked at him. "You spoke truth." "That matters more than strength here." "Why?" he asked. "Why does that matter so much to you?" She studied him for a long moment. "My people have power," she said. "We live long lives. We shape stars. But we have lost something." "What?" "The ability to be uncertain," she replied. "To choose without calculation." Before he could respond, alarm sounded softly outside the chamber. Valera's eyes sharpened. "They are early." The door shimmered again, opening fast this time. Union guards rushed in. "Assassination attempt," one said. "Target, the human." Ethan's heart jumped. Valera moved instantly, placing herself in front of him. Light flared around her hands, forming a protective field. "No," Ethan said quickly. "They want me dead because I'm weak. Let me face it." She turned, surprised. "You cannot." "I won't hide," he said. His voice shook, but he did not step back. If this bond is real, then hiding only proves them right. The mark pulsed again, stronger this time. Valera felt it. She slowly lowered the shield, though tension filled every line of her posture. They moved through the corridors, surrounded by guards. The Union Hall was in chaos. Species argued openly. Some shouted demands. Others watched in silence, calculating. A small group broke from the crowd. Tall, armored beings with sharp features and cold eyes. One raised a weapon that hummed with lethal energy. "This union is an error," the alien declared. "Correct it." Before anyone could react, the weapon fired. Ethan stepped forward without thinking. The shot struck an invisible barrier inches from his chest and vanished. The mark glowed bright silver. The entire hall went silent. Ethan's legs felt weak, but he stood firm. "I didn't ask for this bond," he said loudly, "but I won't run from it either." The alien stared in disbelief. Valera turned to Ethan, something like awe in her eyes. "You could have died," she said quietly. "Yes," he replied, "but I chose not to hide." She nodded once. "That is why." Guards seized the attackers. The crisis passed, but the impact remained. Across the hall, whispers spread. Humans were weak, they said, but this one did not break. As they were escorted away again, Valera spoke softly, only for Ethan. "The trials will be cruel." He managed a small smile. "And I'll survive them the human way." "How is that?" "By refusing to stop being human." The mark pulsed warmly, as if in agreement, and somewhere across the galaxy, forces began to move, drawn by the truth that humanity had just revealed in the hall. The trials were announced across the Galactic Union within one cycle. They were not held in one place. They were not meant to be fair. They were designed to test what no species could fake: judgment, endurance, and the ability to carry consequence. Ethan Cole stood on a circular platform, suspended above a void of stars. The floor beneath his boots was transparent, showing slow-moving galaxies far below. The air was thin but breathable. Around him, seats of light formed for the observers. Hundreds of species watched in silence. Princess Valera stood apart from them, bound by law from interference. Ethan was alone. A Union voice echoed, calm and distant. Trial 1, the weight of choice. The platform shifted. Light formed into images around Ethan, moving, real, sharp. He saw Earth, not the whole planet. Just one city, his city. He recognized the streets, the old training center, the small apartment he had left behind. The image froze. Then another image appeared beside it. Darling, an alien colony world. Millions of lives. Fragile, newly settled, barely protected. The voice returned. "A disaster approaches. You may save only one. The other will be lost." Ethan's chest tightened. This was not a test of intelligence. It was a test of morality. "Choose," the voice said. Ethan clenched his fists. He stared at Earth, his home, his people. Then he looked at the colony. "They're both real?" he asked. "Yes, if I choose one," he said slowly. "The other dies." "Yes." Ethan closed his eyes. The observers waited, many certain he would choose his own kind. That was what every species did. Loyalty was narrow, predictable. Ethan opened his eyes. "I won't choose," he said. A ripple of surprise moved through the chamber. "That is not an option," the voice replied. "It is for humans," Ethan said. "If the system only allows 2 deaths and calls it justice, then the system is broken." Silence followed. Then the images shattered. The platform dimmed. "Trial 1 concluded," the voice said. "Result inconclusive." Among the observers, confusion spread. Some scoffed. Others leaned forward, interested. Vylera felt something shift. The second trial came without warning. Ethan was no longer on the platform. He stood in darkness, cold bit into his skin. The air was heavy, pressing down. A faint red light revealed stone walls around him. Chains lay on the ground, not attached, but close. A voice whispered from everywhere and nowhere. "You are weak." The walls shifted, showing memories. His first failure in training. A mission he was not chosen for. A commanding officer telling him he was average. Then, new images. Alien faces mocking him, calling him small, temporary, unworthy. "You do not belong here," the voice said. "You were chosen by mistake." Ethan felt his knees weaken. This trial was not physical. It was designed to break identity. He remembered something his father once told him, long before space and stars. "If you don't know who you are," his father had said, "others will decide for you." Ethan straightened slowly. "I know who I am," he said aloud. The whispers grew louder. "Then say it." "I am human," Ethan said. "I doubt. I fail. I get scared. But I keep going." The chains rattled, then dissolved. The darkness faded. "Trial 2 concluded," the voice said. "Subject remained stable. The third trial was the hardest." This time Ethan stood in a wide-open field under a pale sky. Wind moved gently. The ground was soft beneath his feet. Across from him stood Princess Vylera. She looked real. Too real. Her expression was calm, but her eyes held sadness. "This bond will destroy my people," she said softly. "They will never accept you. Wars will come. Lives will be lost."
Ethan's heart twisted. "I will end it," she continued.
"But first, I need you to release me. Say that you never wanted this." He took a step toward her. "Vylera, this is mercy," she said, "for both of us." The trial wanted him to let go, to deny the bond, to protect himself. Ethan searched her face. Something was wrong. "Hadaf." Her words were perfect, but her presence felt empty, like a reflection without depth.
"You're not her," he said quietly.
The figure frowned. "I speak with her voice, but not with her weight," Ethan replied. "She stands when it's harder to stand. She doesn't run from cost." The sky cracked. The image shattered like glass. Ethan fell to one knee, gasping. "Trial 3 concluded," the voice announced. "Bond integrity." Jacket strengthened. A murmur spread through the Union. Some elders looked disturbed. Others looked afraid. The final trial came unexpectedly. No platform. No illusions. Ethan was returned to the Union Hall. This time, he was not alone. Princess Vylera stood beside him. Before them stood a group of Union officials, military leaders, and species representatives. "This is not a test of the bond," an elder announced. "This is a test of consequence." A large display appeared showing star systems marked in red. "Your union has already caused unrest," the elder said. "Conflicts have begun. Trade routes are closing. Trust is breaking." The elder turned to Ethan. "You may end this now. Publicly reject the bond. Humanity will be spared blame." Ethan felt every eye on him. He thought of Earth, of the human leaders, watching from afar, of the easy path. Vylera did not speak. She did not look at him. This choice had to be his. Ethan stepped forward. "I won't deny what happened," he said, "but I won't pretend it was about power or control." He looked around the hall. "This bond didn't happen because humans are strong," he continued. "It happened because we are honest enough to be uncertain. Some laughed quietly. Ethan raised his voice. If peace depends on lies, then it isn't peace. If cooperation only works when everyone is the same, then it was never unity. Silence followed. The mark on his chest glowed, not bright but steady. Princess Valera finally turned to look at him. In her eyes, something changed. Not authority, respect. The elder spoke again, slower now. The trials are complete. A pause. The bond stands. The hall erupted, not into chaos, but debate. Loud, uncontrolled, alive. Some species protested. Others watched Ethan with new expressions. Curiosity, consideration, hope. As they were escorted away once more, Ethan felt exhaustion settle into his bones. He had no strength left to pretend. Valera walked beside him, closer than before. "You should have broken," she said quietly. "I know," he replied. "I almost did." She nodded. "My people believed power kept the galaxy stable. Today they saw something else." "What?" he asked. "Endurance without domination," she said. "Truth without certainty." They stopped at a quiet corridor overlooking the stars. "You are still afraid," she added. Ethan smiled faintly. Yeah, that hasn't changed." "Good," Valera said. "Fear means you still care what comes next." Far beyond the Union Hall, signals spread. Stories followed. A human had faced the trials, and the galaxy had begun to realize humanity was not dangerous because it was strong. It was dangerous because it refused to stop being human. Together, surrounded by tension so thick, it felt solid. News was, the galaxy did not calm after the trials. It reacted. News spread faster than any ship could travel. Some worlds celebrated. Others panicked. Old rivals used the bond as an excuse to reopen frozen conflicts. Trade routes slowed. Fleets began to move for protection. Words like stability and tradition were spoken loudly, but fear sat beneath them all. Ethan Cole felt it even from inside the Union complex. He stood near a wide viewing window, watching ships come and go like bright insects against the dark. His body was still tired from the trials, but his mind was worse. Every choice he made now felt heavier than before. Princess Valera joined him. "The pressure's building," she said quietly. "I noticed," Ethan replied. "Feels like everyone's waiting for something to break."
"Yes," she said, "and many hope it will be you."
He let out a dry laugh. "That's comforting." She studied him for a moment. "You are not required to stay." Ethan turned to her. "What do you mean?" "The Union has offered a compromise," she said. "You may return to Earth. The bond will remain legally intact, but distant, symbolic."
"And that would calm things down?"
he asked. "Somewhat," she admitted. "You would be removed as a visible point of tension." Ethan looked back at the stars. Running away. It sounded easy. "And you?" he asked. "I would remain," Valera said. "I would manage the political consequences alone." Ethan frowned. "That doesn't sound fair." "This galaxy is not built on fairness," she replied calmly. He was quiet for a long time. Then he shook his head. "No." Valera looked at him sharply. "No, I won't disappear so everyone else can feel better," he said. "That's not how humans deal with problems. We stay. We argue. We make it awkward until something changes." Something like surprise crossed her face. Before she could respond, the corridor lights dimmed. A Union alert sounded. Low, controlled, dangerous. Valera straightened instantly. That tone means escalation. Moments later, a Union officer appeared, moving quickly.
"Princess, human,"
You are requested in the Central Assembly immediately. The assembly hall was packed. Not ceremonially packed, politically packed. Representatives stood instead of sat. Security fields shimmered openly. Tension filled the air like static. At the center stood a tall, broad alien with dark metallic skin and burning red eyes. His species, the Carricks, were known for strength and directness. He pointed at Ethan the moment they entered. "This human destabilizes the Union," the Carrick's leader growled. "Already 3 border systems prepare for war. Remove him." Murmurs followed. Another voice rose. "This bond sets a precedent. Any species could claim compatibility without proof." Ethan felt heat rising in his chest. Valera stepped forward, but Ethan gently raised a hand. He surprised himself. "Let me speak," he said quietly. The hall hesitated. Then an elder nodded once.
"You may." Ethan stepped into the open space. "I didn't ask to be here," he began.
"I didn't ask to be marked, and I don't want power over any of you." The Carrick's leader snorted. "Then step aside." Ethan met his gaze. His legs trembled, but he didn't look away. "You think removing me fixes the problem," Ethan said. "But the problem isn't me. It's that the galaxy is built on rules that never expected change." Anger flared across several faces. Ethan continued, voice steadier now. "Humans are new. We know what it's like to be underestimated, to be told we don't belong. And instead of breaking the system, we survived inside it until it had to notice us. A ripple of discomfort spread. Conflict is coming, Ethan said. Not because of this bond, but because the galaxy refuses to ask why it happened." Silence followed. The Carrick's leader stepped closer. "And what do you suggest, little human?" Ethan took a breath. "Let the galaxy see us fail." Confusion filled the hall. "Excuse me?" an elder asked. "Stop hiding decisions behind closed doors," Ethan said. "Stop pretending perfection exists. Let humans participate openly. Let mistakes happen where everyone can see them." "That is chaos," someone snapped. "No," Ethan replied. "That's accountability." Princess Valera watched him, her expression unreadable. "You want to weaken authority," an elder said. "I want to humanize it," Ethan answered. The word echoed strangely in the chamber. Before anyone could respond, alarms blared again, this time sharp and urgent. "Unauthorized fleet movement detected," a voice announced. Herex war vessels entering Union-controlled space. The hall exploded into shouting. The Carrick's leader's eyes widened. "That is not—" "Stand down your fleets," an elder commanded. "They will not," the leader said grimly. They believe the Union has been compromised. Fear rippled outward. War was no longer theoretical. Ethan felt something settle inside him. This was the moment. He stepped forward again. "Let me go." All eyes turned to him. "Go where?" Valera asked sharply. "To Dan," Ethan said. "To the Carrick's fleet. That is unacceptable," the elder said in unison. "They won't listen to you," Ethan replied. "They don't trust institutions, but they understand risk." Valera grabbed his arm. "They will kill you." "Maybe," he said. "But humans have faced worse odds than this." The mark on his chest pulsed, warm and steady. Valera stared at it, then at him. Slowly, she released his arm. "I will go with you," she said. The elders protested, but time was gone. A small diplomatic vessel launched minutes later, cutting through space toward the incoming fleet. It was unarmed. Exposed. Ethan sat strapped into a seat, hands clenched. "This is the worst plan I've ever been part of," he muttered. Valera glanced at him. "Yet you volunteered." Yeah, he said. Humans do that sometimes. The ship exited jump space directly in front of the Correx formation. Massive warships loomed like dark mountains, weapons powered up. A channel opened. The Correx leader appeared on the screen, fury in his eyes. You bring the problem to us? Ethan leaned forward. I bring myself, the alien sneered. You think that matters? Yes, Ethan said. Because if you destroy this ship, you don't destroy a threat. You create a martyr. Silence followed. Ethan continued. You believe strength keeps order. Humans believed that once too. It nearly destroyed us. The Correx leader hesitated. Valera stepped into view. This bond did not weaken me, she said. It forced me to see beyond control. The Correx leader studied them both. You risk everything, he said. Yes, Ethan replied. That's the point. Minutes passed. Finally, the Correx warships powered down their weapons. We will withdraw, the leader said slowly. Not because we accept this bond, but because you dared to stand unarmed before us. The channel closed. The stars grew quiet again. Ethan slumped back in his seat, shaking. That, he said weakly, was terrifying. Valera looked at him with something close to wonder. You faced a fleet with words, she said. He smiled faintly. Humans are good at that. Sometimes it even works. As their ship turned back toward the Union, something had changed. Not peace, but possibility. And across the galaxy, for the first time, many began to wonder, what else might humans change if given the chance? Already spreading across the galaxy, systems would argue. Empires. The return to the Galactic Union did not feel like victory. It felt like standing on the edge of something, unfinished. Ethan Cole stepped off the diplomatic vessel with unsteady legs. The moment his boots touched the Union platform, cameras activated, drones rose, and eyes turned toward him. Not hostile this time. Not welcoming either. Curious. Princess Valera walked beside him, her posture calm, her presence steady. Together, they moved through the corridor toward the assembly hall for the final ruling. This time, there would be no trials, no illusions, no escape. Only decision. Inside the hall, the atmosphere was different. Less shouting, more silence. Representatives spoke in low voices. Some avoided Ethan's gaze. Others watched him openly. The elders took their places. The emergency has passed, the lead elder announced. The Correx fleet has withdrawn. Further conflicts have paused. Paused. Not ended. The elder turned to Ethan. Your actions prevented immediate war, but they have also changed expectations. Ethan nodded. I figured. The Union must now decide what this bond means, the elder continued. Not just for you, for humanity. A display formed above them, showing data streams, trade routes reopening, alliances reconsidering, communication traffic exploding. You have forced the galaxy to look at humans differently, the elder said. Not as observers, not as children. A pause, but as participants. Murmurs spread. Ethan felt his chest tighten. Princess Valera stepped forward. The bond did not elevate him, she said. It revealed him. Some nodded, others looked troubled. The elder raised a hand for silence. Human Ethan Cole. Do you understand what continued recognition of this bond requires? Ethan met the elder's gaze. Yes.
It will mean responsibility without authority, the elder said.
Blame without control. Pressure without protection. Ethan took a breath. That already sounds like being human. A few soft laughs echoed before they could be stopped. The elder did not smile, but his tone softened. you may still choose to step away. The Union would accept your withdrawal. Humanity would remain neutral. Ethan looked around the hall. He thought of Earth, of quiet streets and ordinary lives, of how easy it would be to go home and let history move without him. Then he thought of the moment he stood unarmed before a fleet, and the silence that followed. "I won't step away," he said. Princess Philera turned to him, her eyes searching his face. "I don't think humans are meant to sit safely on the edge," Ethan continued. "We mess things up. We argue, but we show up." He looked back to the elders. "If the galaxy wants to move forward, humans will walk with it, even when we don't know where the path leads." The hall fell silent again. Then the lead elder spoke the words no one had expected to hear. "The bond stands." A ripple passed through the assembly. Not shock this time, but release. "The Galactic Union recognizes the human species as a partner civilization," the elder continued, "with voice, but not dominance. With duty, but not control." Princess Philera closed her eyes briefly. Ethan exhaled. The elder raised one final point. "This decision will not bring peace overnight." Ethan nodded. Nothing worth doing ever does. The assembly ended without ceremony. That alone said everything. In the days that followed, change came quietly. Not grand declarations, not sudden unity, small things. Human diplomats were invited to councils they had never seen before, not to lead, just to speak. Human engineers were asked questions instead of ignored. Human officers were consulted during crisis planning, not as muscle, but as perspective. Some aliens resisted. Others adapted. Ethan found himself busier than ever. Meetings, conversations, meetings, arguments that lasted hours. He learned quickly that influence did not come from power, but from consistency. Princess Philera remained close, not always physically, but in presence. One evening they stood together on a balcony, overlooking a cluster of stars. No guards, no officials, just quiet. "You have changed my people," she said softly. "I didn't mean to," Ethan replied. "That makes it more effective," she said. He smiled faintly. "Humans have a habit of doing that." She turned to him. "Do you regret staying?" Ethan thought for a long moment. "I miss home," he said. "But I don't regret choosing this." "Why?" she asked. "Because for the first time," he said, "I feel like what I do matters beyond survival." Philera nodded. "That is what the bond recognized." He glanced at her. "You never really told me why it chose me." She looked out at the stars. "My people believed compatibility meant similarity. The bond proved otherwise." She met his gaze. "It chose you because you carry responsibility without demanding reward." Ethan felt warmth spread from the mark on his chest. Weeks later, the first joint Union human relief mission launched. Not military, not political. Human ships delivered supplies to a struggling alien world that had once voted against recognizing humanity. Ethan watched the transmission quietly. "They didn't have to accept help," he said. "They did," Philera replied, "because it was offered without condition." The galaxy watched and remembered. Not all stories ended well. Some systems still resisted. Some leaders still plotted. But something fundamental had shifted. Humanity was no longer an unknown variable. They were a known risk, and a known hope. On the anniversary of the ceremony, Ethan stood once more in the Union Hall, not as an observer, not as a symbol, as himself. The hall felt smaller now, more familiar. As he walked past representatives who once ignored him, many inclined their heads slightly, not submission, acknowledgement. Princess Philera joined him at the center platform, the same place where everything had begun. The symbols beneath their feet glowed softly.
"The galaxy still fears change," she said.
Ethan nodded.
"Yeah?"
"So do humans. Yet you keep choosing it." "Yeah," he said. "Guess that's our thing." The mark on his chest pulsed once. Steady, calm, real. The bond had not made him powerful. It had made him visible. And through him, humanity had become something the galaxy could no longer overlook. Not conquerors, not saviors, but partners. As the lights dimmed and the hall emptied, Ethan looked up at the vast ceiling and the stars beyond it. For the first time since leaving Earth, he felt something close to peace. The future was uncertain, and that, he knew, was exactly where humans belonged. Dot would react. Some would see opportunity, others would see threat. Ethan knew only one thing. His life had just ended, and something far larger had begun. As they passed through the massive doors of the Union Hall, the mark on his chest pulsed once, softly, as if acknowledging the truth. A human had been chosen, and the galaxy would never look at humanity the same way again.